Hello, welcome back to Galentine's Day. So I thought about what would be a better celebration of the Galentine's Day experience and the bonds shared between ladies, kick-ass ladies, than the classic historical American Girl books. That's right, guys. We're going to review the American Girl books. We're gonna do it. Okay. I have been in love with the American Girl book series since 1994 when they came out. I was a little bitty baby in the 5th grade. And I loved those books to my last drop of blood. And I still do. They're awesome books. No joke. These books are heartfelt. Okay? They're heartwarming. They have a lot of research put into them. They feel like they're very genuine. And this is one of the first series that really spotlighted people of color, minorities, kids from different backgrounds, kids from blended families. American Girl stores were super cool because any kid could walk in that store and say hey, and this was back in the 90s, and say hey, I want a doll with my hair texture, my skin color, who's gonna look like me. And they could have that done, and that's really cool. And that's one of the reasons we love American Girl, but we also love them for their kick-ass historical fiction novels. And we're going to start out with the very first in the series, and we're going to go chronologically how they were published, and that is the Samantha Parkington series. And this was the first series I read. I did not read the first book in the series. I read Samantha Learns a Lesson, I think. So we're going to just start. Yeah, we're going to dive right in. And these videos are going to be split into, I think, 2 parts. So we'll do, and we're just going to hit the highlights. We're not going to delve into the psychology of the characters, blah, blah, blah. We're just going to commentate on these books and what I find weird or funny or interesting about them. So about these books that I utterly adore. If you've never read the classic American Girl historical novels, look them up. They're amazing. I love them. Okay, so let's go. Oh, they're about friendship. They're awesome. They're awesome novels. Okay. So, this novel is Samantha. It is about a orphan growing up in the year 1904. And I think this is in, somewhere in New England. Please tell me the specific place. It has New England vibes, even though me and my bro had a joke that this was taking place in Twin Peaks, back in the early 20th century. Okay, the first book is Meet Samantha, and we're just getting introduced to Samantha. Samantha's 9 years old. She has a neighbor named Eddie Ryland, and he's kind of a little pill. He likes to tease her. I love the way all of his ploys to get at Samantha backfire hilariously. Eddie's the punching bag of the universe in this series. Samantha gets in a fight with Eddie. She runs upstairs. She talks to Jessie, the seamstress. They're just kind of introducing the characters. When I was a kid reading this, I was like, what kind of rich-ass people are these? They have a literal seamstress. So Jessie's cool. She is a lady of color. And she's neat. She just sews clothes for the household. Samantha, I think, she either has a crush on her. She has a girl crush on her. She admires her very much. She compares her to Alice Roosevelt. She paints up these fantasies where she's and Jessie was a beautiful spy who was going to the Austria and seducing the Habsburgs. And okay, I headcanon Samantha as a Sagittarius woman because she has these lofty ideas. She is a hilarious kid. Okay, so one of the main confrontations or story arcs in the book is her Uncle Guard, and he is a silly guy. He reminds me a little bit of my man. I also headcanon him as Sagittarius. He's just a good-natured guy. He's always joking around. He loves adventure. He's kind of Samantha's right-hand man, and he was the younger brother of her mom, Lydia, and you kind of see Samantha being that replacement for her and their brother-sister sibling duo. And it's really one of the books goes into their relationship. We'll get to that. So Uncle Guard has a boo, and her name is Cornelia, and she is this lady. She has some very newfangled notions, like women voting. Oh my goodness. or that is according to Samantha's grandma, who is called Grand Mary. And I thought that was the cutest name. My maternal grandmother was named Mary, and we called her Meemaw, but Grand Mary is such a cute name. So Grand Mary and Cornelia clash. We'll get more into them. Their relationship is very excellent. The relationships in all the American Girl books, but especially this book, is very wonderful. Jessie, she's married to this really cool guy called Lincoln, and he's a porter to New Orleans, and he's always telling Samantha these stories and kind of enabling her very wild imagination. So Samantha is in training to be a lady, a debutante, according to her grandmother, Grand Mary, and Samantha she's like a Capricorn. I think I had headcanon her as like a Capricorn sun, a Sagittarius moon. She's very tied to tradition and her grandmother, but she's also very much like inspired by the new ideas of the day, which is 1904, the early 20th century. There are inventions right and frickin' left, which we'll talk about more. So maybe she's an Aquarius. Like, she has those two ruling planets. Like, she has Uranus, like, pulling her in one direction, and Saturn wanting her, like, to settle down and be like a lady. Grand Mary is really cool. She is a really very well-written older character. So she wants Samantha to be a lady, and she makes her take, like, needlepoint lessons and, like, piano lessons and be nice to Eddie lessons, which always backfire hilariously. Samantha reminds me of Marie from the Aristocats. She's very much like, ladies cannot start fights, but they sure effing can finish them. And she never lets Eddie forget it, and I love it. And I kind of ship him. You can tell Eddie's in love with her. He kind of likes a woman who can kick his ass. He has Fox Mulder vibes. I mean, look at him. So Uncle Guard brings Cornelia around. Samantha's a little jealous of Cornelia to begin with, but I think she's just like scoping her out. She's like, are you good enough for him, though? She's such a, like, Uncle Guard is very much Samantha's, like, brother. He's her uncle, but he's very much fills that role. I was very much that to my older brother, like, scoping out his girlfriends, like, but are you good enough? Can you prove it? So, but Samantha has a good heart. So one morning, Samantha meets a little girl, and her name is Nellie, and I love their meeting. Samantha's like, oh, hey, do you live at the Rylands? And Nellie's like, no, I work here. And you just see, like, the shocked meme on Samantha's face is like, boom. And she's like, you say what now? You what here? And Samantha is a very bright young lady, and she has these amazing ideas. She's very creative, and she's very diplomatic and poised. I put her as a Libra rising, or a Venus in Libra, because she's very poised and she knows how to talk to people. But she's very naive. She's very sheltered to the outside world. And I love her and Nellie's dynamic because both of them are sheltered and both of them are streetwise, but in different ways. Like, Samantha's opening up this world of just like literature and learning and mathematics and all of these wonderful things that Nellie has been deprived because she's had to provide for her family like an adult from the time she was 6 years old. And yet Nellie is opening up the world of reality to Samantha, where she's like, look at these people and they are suffering. Like, and I love that message in the story where, like, America was going through incredible progress during this time, but it was a price to pay for these poor people that were working in these factories, these poor children that were working in these factories. And the book, I'm not going to share, like, specifically in this video, but they get graphic. Like, that's one thing I love about the American Girl books. They do not effing hold back. They're like, yeah, kids were maimed in these factories. Like, Nellie talks about one of the girls who worked there and her arm was crushed, and like, you couldn't wear shoes even though it was freezing cold because what if you slipped on the machines and you died and you were crushed to death. And like, Nellie has been through all of this and she's not even 9 years old. And so, and yet she's very innocent to like things like literature and books, and she doesn't know where the Atlantic Ocean is. I I grew up very poor, and I remember going to school and having richer friends, and they would be like, you can just do this thing, or you can join us for this thing. And I'm like, man, I got no money. What? I'm broke as hell. Like, I'm a stray cat. That is such like a 90s slang. Like, she's such a stray cat. She's so broke. Like, 90s middle school slang. I loved it. So Nellie and Sam become best friends, and their friendship is beautiful. I'm gonna say it's the best in the American Girl series. They freaking work. They are such Sagittarius Pisces energy together. Their dynamic is so cute. Just like Nellie having this very Piscean energy aura, incredible manifestation, but being so shy, and then Sam's expansiveness bringing it out of her, and then Nellie very much grounding Sam. I know every hardworking character I want to headcanon as a Virgo, because I'm a Virgo and I feel that. Nellie at least has a Virgo in Venus. She's a very hard worker. Not to brag or anything. So Sam's like, I'm going to teach you everything. I can show you the world. She's doing some Aladdin shit. And then Jesse's going away, and this is a crazy portion of the book, and I forgot. Every time I read this, I'm like, oh yeah, back then they didn't tell kids shit, did they? They were just like, the birds and bees say what? Let these little urchins figure it out on their own, which is just so my childhood. I learned about the birds and the bees by creeping around my local library and reading World Book encyclopedias and just like looking up like in the S section, and that's all I'm gonna say. So they're just like, oh, Jessie's fine, she'll just disappear for a few forevers and we'll never see her again. And they're just, this kid's freaking out. Jessie is essentially her older sister, and they're just, she's freaking the hell out, and these adults are just like patting her on the head, and they're just like, oh dear, you'll be fine, just drink some water and lie down. So her grandmother gives her a doll named Lydia, and it looks just like her mom, and you know, Disney princesses and all that. But what is it? Where's your dad? I don't even have a mom. Neither do we. Just get used to that, okay? A lot of these American Girls could be Disney princesses as far as dead moms go. So she gets this doll. Hooray! And they're going to go find Jessie. Dun, dun, I wish that I had Jessie's girls. I really wish that I had Jessie's girls, Nellie and Samantha. These two girls, I mean, what are we going to headcanon them as? Spies during World War I? I mean, these girls, they keep, like, trash-talking themselves. They're like, oh, no, I don't know if we can do this. And they're just doing, like, parkour ninja shit. So they sneak into the poorer part of town. There's a really great exchange where Samantha looks at Nellie and she's like, why does Jessie live here? And Nellie looks at her and she's like, Jessie doesn't have a choice. She has to live here. She's a poor black woman. There's no way she could live in the, like, quote, better part of town, like across the railroad tracks. And Samantha's blown away by it. And I had so many experiences like that when I was a kid and I was poor. And my richer friends would talk to me and I would be like, they were like, why don't your parents just, like, buy a washing machine? Why do they go to the laundromat, like, every week? And I'm like, because they can't fucking afford a washing machine. So they have to keep on this cycle of, like, paying the laundromat. Like, it's just, like, and Samantha doesn't mean it. I like the way Samantha is written as this wealthy character, but she isn't heartless. She's very compassionate. Like, she uses her privilege, and you will see that later on in the series. And we're just going to have to cut this down to one novel. But this is a pretty good way to kick off the series. I might not do, like, the whole series. I might just pick out books from the American Girl series I really, really like. Because I just want to celebrate Valentine's Day. Yay! Okay, so they do some serious Parent Trap shit, and they look through the window, and Lincoln's like, damn tweens, and he comes out on the porch, and the tweens fall, and he's like, damn tweens. So they go inside, and surprise, surprise, Jesse had a baby. And prior to this, I love how Samantha and Nellie discuss where Jesse could have gone. And Samantha's like, she's a spy, and she's like in the courts of Europe making dresses for all the ladies and getting all their secrets and blah 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 blah. And Nellie's like, maybe she has a kid. And it's such a Sagittarius Virgo moment where the Sagittarius is like, big idea, big idea, big idea, and the Virgo's like pulling them down by their leg like they're a balloon. They're like, come on down here, buddy, let's talk about it. So again, Nellie being streetwise and very sweet. Nellie's a Virgo, but she's not a jerk. I know some poorly evolved Virgos can be jerks. Any sign can be a jerk. I have been a poorly evolved Virgo and a jerk, but Nellie is a very sweetheart. So, of course, Jesse has a baby, and his name is Marcus, and he is a very cute baby. These illustrations are so cute. He's a cute little guy. So, then, they say, like, you can come back and work for Grandmary. And Grandmary's like, what? I didn't make that decision. But there's a lot of that in this series where Samantha's like just using Grandmary's privilege. And I kind of love it, you know. And Grandmary's cool about it, as you will see. So then Nellie, like she's getting sicker. She has a chronic illness. I don't know what it is. It's just from working in these terrible factories. And she has to go back to New York City. And she's leaving, and I love the way Samantha handles this, like a true highly evolved Sagittarians, and this is Sagittarians at their best. She drops everything immediately, and she's like, I have to meet my friend's needs right here where I can. And she goes to the cook, Mrs. Hawkins, who's such a Sigma. I love Mrs. Hawkins and Mr. Hawkins, the butler, her husband. And she just gives all the food away to this kid, and she's like, here, take all these hams to your parents. Here, take all this stuff. Take all blankets, whatever. And I also love the way Samantha gets one final I can't talk. I'm so tired. One final smackdown on Eddie. She like shoves taffy in his hair. It's great. So, and then she gives Nellie her most prized possession, and that's the doll, who's I think like a totem for her mom, Lydia. And I love this quote, and it's kind of cheesy, but it really like reflects like how heartfelt and lovely and like just well researched these books are, and how much love and care is put into these. And like how they showcase female friendship and how important it is to keep our society and civilization going. And I love the American Girl series, but they're all sitting around, and Grandmary's like, hey, I haven't seen Lydia, your doll. And Samantha's like, I lost her, because she doesn't want to tell her about Nellie. And Grandmary's berating her, and she's like, how are you ever going to know the value of things? And then Uncle Guard is sitting there observing, and he heard about the whole thing from Mrs. Ryland. And then he tells, he says, I think Samantha perfectly knows the value of things. And he tells Grandmary about her giving her Lydia to protect her. And then Grandmary's like, I understand that. And I love that about Grandmary. She is an old lady. She's set in her ways. She does not like newfangled notions, but she isn't closed-minded. If she doesn't like newfangled things because she's set in her way, but if someone shows her a new way that it helps people and benefits the collective, she will go for it. And I love that about her. There are so many older people that way, and they're the Zoomers. My mom is that way, and she's like, look, this generation has a lot of things I don't get, but they're our future, and I'm going to fight for them. And I just love older people like that, and Grandmary reminds me of that. She's like Madam from the Aristocats. She's just cool. Okay. I like Hiccup's mom from How to Train Your Dragon. I just love her a lot. Okay. And that's the end of the first book. So thanks a lot, and thank you for joining me on this series, our Galentine's Day special, diving into the classic American Girl series. We love y'all.